But those things can confuse you because they're not the things that construct your life. It's your choices that construct your life.
Jeff Bezos believes that choosing a life that has more challenges will ultimately be more fulfilling in the long run. Why? Because working to get yourself to a place of comfort and ease doesn't give you any challenge. It doesn't provide you with satisfaction. One day when you're older, will you be proud of not having any difficulties in life? Or will you be proud of taking on challenges and looking back at the things that you accomplished? You should always focus on what you're passionate about. He believes that you should not try to chase what is the new hot focus of the minute. He says if you don't love your work, you won't be great at it. Even if you achieve monetary success, you may end up in the end being unsatisfied and unfulfilled because you're not doing what you've been called to do.
I'm focusing on those things that I think make Amazon unusual.
He also believes your choices are just as important as your giftings because your choices will guide your steps, and when choices are made poorly, they can harm your future. Make sure that you can picture yourself later in life being satisfied with what you choose and allowing yourself time to enjoy what's around you, the important things, so that you can have true satisfaction. Live your life working toward the mission that you have been called to. When you do this, you will find that you enjoy your work and you will find more happiness in the long run. He says embrace the challenge and push yourself. Don't settle for mediocre when incredible is possible. Work hard and find the true happiness in living out your life's purpose.
Do something you're very passionate about, and don't try to chase what is kind of the hot passion of the day.
You can choose a life of ease and comfort, or you can choose a life of service and adventure. Which one of those, when you're 90 years old, are you going to be more proud of? So a young person starting their career, I think there are probably a lot of things. Some of them are very well known and people have heard them many times. They're still true. One of those that you should always focus on, a young person should find something that they're passionate about to do. And that's not going to surprise anyone. It's a clear thing to do. It's very hard. If you don't love your work, you're never going to be great at it. I think the other thing I would suggest to any young person, even before they start their career, is to really think about their choices. Because I find young people, and when I was young, I made this mistake too. You can get very fixed on your gifts. So everybody has gifts. You know, you have gifts and you have things that you didn't get gifted. Maybe you're extremely beautiful. Maybe you're extremely good at mathematics. There are a lot of things that you can be given.
Do something you're very passionate about, and don't try to chase what is kind of the hot passion of the day. I think we actually saw this, I think you see it all over the place in many different contexts, but I think we saw it in the internet world quite a bit, where, you know, at the sort of peak of the sort of internet mania in, say, 1999, you found people who were very passionate about something. They kind of left that job and decided, I'm going to do something in the internet, because it's, it was almost like the 1849 gold rush in a way. I mean, you find that people, if you go back and study the history of the 1849 gold rush, you find that at that time, everybody who was within shouting distance of California was, they might have been a doctor, but they quit being a doctor and they started panning for gold. And that almost never works. And even if it does work, according to some metric, financial success or whatever it might be, I suspect it leaves you ultimately unsatisfied.
The number one thing going through my mind is the people I saw up on stage tonight are all missionaries. And in my business dealings at Amazon, we often buy companies, smaller companies, smaller than Amazon, but sometimes they're fairly large companies like Whole Foods, but oftentimes they're very small companies. And I'm really mainly looking for one thing when I'm talking to the senior leaders of those companies, and it's, are they missionaries or are they mercenaries? Because the missionaries build better products and services, they care for their customers more. The mercenaries are trying to make a quick buck. They're trying to flip this company and sell it. They built it for sale. They always wanted to sell it. They want to get rid of it. And those companies aren't built to last. So that's the main thing I thought about when I saw these people on stage tonight, all the award winners, and I think it's probably true for everybody who goes into government service and takes that service seriously. You do that because it's a mission.
think it's very important to pursue your passions, and if you're doing that, the risks are often not as great as they seem to be. So for me, when I thought about leaving my job and starting this company, I knew there was a good chance that it wouldn't work, but I also knew that when I was 80 years old and thinking back over my life, I would never regret having tried and failed, but I might regret having never tried. And when I thought about it that way, it didn't actually seem like that big of a risk. So it's easy to have ideas. It's very hard to turn an idea into a successful product. There are a lot of steps in between, and it takes persistence, relentlessness. So I always tell people who are, who think they want to be entrepreneurs, you need a combination of stubborn relentlessness and flexibility. And you have to know when to be which. And basically you need to be stubborn on your vision, because otherwise it'll be too easy to give up. But you need to be very flexible on the details, because as you go along pursuing your vision, you'll find that some of your preconceptions were wrong, and you're going to need to be able to change those things. So I think taking an idea successfully all the way to the market and turning it into a real product that people care about and that really improves people's lives is a lot of hard work.